June already. Thursday. I always say already. I have a big sense of challenges with time, and maybe you do too. Um, I would like to welcome you, everybody, to this. You change the world. You change the world. You change the world. Nobody else. And the fact is that yes, I'm a coach. I'm a coach, and I'm focusing on leadership development, organizational leadership, and different other coaching aspects that maximize people's potential. And potential is usually things that we're not connecting to all the time. So when things come up, and I ask also my clients to be always situational, bring examples to the coaching space so that we can role play it, we can experience it, and I can give feedback. No recommendation, no advice, no mentoring, but coaching. So it all comes from the client, all from the client. And because it comes from the client with the client's efforts, sometimes stretching efforts, we find ourselves like in the sports ground. And the coach is really moving with the coachee, looks at every single movement, words, posture aspects, so that we talk about impact, influence, and all of that. Executive presence is probably one of the dominant question. But what today we are, in fact, approaching is something even deeper. It is about your future. It's about your present in terms of what do you choose for yourself and how independent you are. And you know how dear this topic is to me because I bring it very regularly that we have freedom of choice. And we do not have so many strings attached to us as we think we do. So, this freedom, in other words, is, I think, a key to your success. And I think it's the key to all the success that all the people that I meet every single day are sometimes far because they are so binded to so many things. And this is why I want to talk about career. I want to talk about marketability. And you change the world when you feel yourself marketable, when you know that you are visible, or you make yourself that way. And there is no excuse, really, that you're introvert, that you are nerdy, or that you are completely, how to say, focused on others, but never on yourself, because you're loaded with work, because there's many tasks that you can't delegate and you do them yourself. And really, the truth is, if I would say another dominant phenomenon I can see every day by seeing a good number of people is that everybody's very close to burning out. Many resources are removed from them. There is a lack of, for sure, sense of security. And you know what? Not at the level of an employee, your level or mine, the level of the stakeholders, of the board members, of the investors. And it's not showing yet at Wall Street, but it is definitely there. And because of that, there is hire freeze, there is layoffs, there is cutting of a lot of the different expenses so that companies start to be on the conservative side. And that impacts your day. And also, consequently, if you take it, impacts your life. If you take it, your hours. And if you take it even further, completely submitting yourself to decisions that others people make and not necessarily good ones, and that you're submitting yourself, not that I'm encouraging people, to not subordinate themselves to their superiors, to the hierarchy. That's not what I'm recommending. Again, I'm not recommending. I'm listening very actively, and I'm observing, and then I give feedback. And the more real time the feedback is, the better, because we can exchange and in real time get to some conclusions, and not me again, the coachee, to the conclusions that will clarify maybe a different choice to make. A different choice to make. Now, a little housekeeping. We are multi channels today, like we are every week. It's on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on X, Twitter, and on Spotify, the recorded version, and all the other podcast channels that I can use. Now, I am still having a little bit of an issue with production. Well, why should I not? I should make an announcement here. Why not? Sometimes I can also express a need and see if you could help me. I'm looking for someone that that can really hire, not full time, but someone I can really hire to take care of podcast production, of content creation, of of PR, and all the other things that a coach needs from someone to outsource and rely on that person. Rely on that person, because I will share with you, and that's a little bit of a parenthesis, but it's interesting to note. It's maybe something you're also going through, is that, or I'm unlucky, but I don't think it is. It's a pattern. Very difficult to find a reliable person, a freelancer, that will be with you all along and have the same mindset as I do have. I want to build the relationship. I want to increase and always gradually, expand the outsourcing. And this way, start from a very reasonable point so that we can start getting to know each other. We have also to celebrate and share success together. And the more we are building credits, right, successes, the more we can move forward to the next level. That's a very reasonable approach. And in spite of this approach, I have been failing a lot. Usually, what happens is that I have a website developed by a freelancer, very talented one. That person takes my job and gets overwhelmed. I think that's the way it is. They don't mean bad. They're just taking more and more jobs. They're very young, maybe not mature enough. I don't know, but they take too much of work and then they just let you down. Now, letting you down sometimes is very expensive. You paid all these fees monthly to these people, and then all of a sudden, this old website that you developed for these months, which became a sophisticated one with different coding and transactional features, disappear out of the cyberspace, and I can't get it back. And that's what happened to me a couple of times. Now I'm having again stuck. I'm stuck seriously, and as I'm broadcasting and streaming, I'm asking you if you have any recommendation or someone that you know. I would prefer to take a group of people, a team of people, so that when someone becomes unavailable, the liability, the accountability, not liability, the accountability remains, and whatever I signed up for, I'm going to be delivered. And that's what I'm really trying to find out. And maybe by sharing that with you, it might also give you an idea about freelancing and about outsourcing. There is a crisis out there of getting people we can rely on. They're not reliable. I mean, for me, it's 95% not reliable. I always, at one point, got abandoned. The project was falling and they let me down. And I was paying my bills, and I'm a nice person to work with. I'm sure I am. I'm very empathetic. I'm very patient. I can send anything and resource people want. I can do half of the work sometime, but I need someone to help me and get organized. And for these podcasts, those streaming productions, getting my guests online with me and all of that, it requires a lot of time that I don't have. So my only alternative is to find the right talents to help me. Or if at the end of the day I need to do this again, I will hire a full-time person. But I need that person, and I need someone badly that is really very talented and very skilled, so that I can completely rely on that person, have peace of mind, and have it done in the right way. Okay, I did my personal announcement. Now back to the topic. We are today in the topic that I find to be extremely important, is to have you feel very good that you can still check the market. Even you've been a loyal employee at any level of your career, and your employer has been loyal to you, it is not nevertheless a reason to be completely blind and not making yourself visible out there. So we talked about the personal board of directors, right? People that you know, your first circle, your closest circle, people that you trust, and you really officially build your personal board of directors. These people and you exchange regularly about, first of all, your respective experiences. You have known each other for a long time. You worked with each other. Went to college with each other. You're reconnecting with people you didn't connect with for so long, and they are so happy and welcome you back. All of this builds what I call, well, it is called, not me calling, a personal board of directors. And they really are directors because you and them form a team of people that are very responsible and accountable to make sure that everybody helps each other, understand the market, talk about their own experiences. And then sometimes, even when someone is laid off or find himself or herself in a difficult situation, it can very well happen that in this group of people, someone has an opportunity for the other or says something like, oh my gosh, I just have a job now, a job opening, and you're available? Unbelievable. I need you to join my team. And this is what happens most of the time. So call it networking. It's not networking. It's a group of people that you meet on a regular basis, let's say monthly, and not less than monthly. And each month, it's a good time that you spend together online or physically together, and you have those topics in your mind. You want everybody to be informed about what you do and about the market where you are, and different things that you can exchange about international, about the impact of the economy, about what you intend to do for yourself, how you manage your cash flow, how you manage your bank account, everything that you can share, you share with each other. And sometimes you help each other. And sometimes you even have influence for each other. All of this is so crucial. I don't even understand that at 2024, someone in a career path doesn't do this. Secondly, and it's not a prescription, it's normal. It's a natural thing. Look, I moved from France a long time ago to the US, moving from one culture to the next culture. It has changed a little bit about this, but the French culture is not about job about job insecurity. It's the opposite. Usually, when you work in a French company or in a Swiss company, to make it worse in terms of the the worse in terms of firing an employee and having legal ramifications. Even here, people are very nervous in the US HR to get people fired or laid off, and they just want to protect the company from litigations and other exposures, liabilities. Nevertheless, it's a possibility. You can always do it when it's necessary. Look at what Elon Musk did. I'm saying it was the right thing to do, but Elon Musk did as soon as he got Twitter and how he abruptly got rid of, I don't know if it's more than 50% of the staff. But this could not happen in Europe. Absolutely not. And it happened in the US. So what I'm trying to say is that we are all, when we're employed, or even we own our own company because our VCs, anybody can just disconnect from you, cut off the pipeline, and you just find yourself one morning without nothing. And now we are at the edge of depression, mentally depression, everything depression, and that's not what you want to do. Why do you subscribe to a life insurance? Why do you take an insurance policy for your car, for your home, right? An homeowner's policy. Why do you do those things? And you don't do this with your own career and your employment. I don't understand that. And I know there is some insurance policies that exist to maintain your salary in case you are losing your job. Okay, well, that's very legitimate. If you can afford that policy, it's probably expensive. But I would say that your own policy is what I'm talking about. You need a ritual, something you do, a habit to take care of yourself. The self-caring is, in fact, taking care of your dear ones and take care of other people. Your self-caring, the focus on yourself, on reflecting on where you are in your career. Well, is it what I want to do? Is it making me happy? Do I have a good mood? Do I wake up in the morning empowered to go to work? Those questions are fundamental, crucial questions. And if it's not answering yes to any of the ones that I just mentioned, among many other questions, then you have to really kind of reflect on it and see how you can maximize. We never can get 100%. Your happiness, the use of your talents being really more, excuse me, overmined than undermined, or overestimated than underestimated. And I'm not saying that yourself should over or underestimate yourself. It's funny when you do a 360, right? Usually when you compare yourself, because you're self-rating yourself on the 360, right? Those assessments about personality, about performance, about team work, and all of this, those 360s, when you look at your own rating, it's always below everybody else because you're harsh on yourself or you're very demanding on yourself. But what you're not doing on yourself, though, is giving yourself the favor and the credit of thinking highly of yourself, and especially checking how much are you worth in this market, by going out there in the market and do this on a regular basis, to just go even through an interview process from the beginning to the end. And I will tell you, you're not disloyal to anyone. You're not lacking any integrity to anyone. If I would tell you how shocking this is sometimes because of policies that a company is going to advertise a job out there in LinkedIn or in any job, website, or publishing in a paper or in a magazine, that there is a job opportunity, vice president of business development. It puts you a bracket of salary, gives you the job description, and you don't even know that you are going to go through the process of being selected for an interview by a recruiter. You're going to be interviewed by the hiring manager, but they already set their mind on someone else. Do you imagine this? Can you imagine this? And those who are in HR know what I'm saying. So we never, unfortunately, taken care of by any entity out there, other than our close people, our close circles. In other words, what I'm trying to say is nobody's nasty. Nobody wants you to fail or want to see you going downwards. But the system in general is not here to care for you to that extent and your career. And if they pretend they do, and even are sincere, it's because you're dealing with a guy who is a mensch, someone who is really a mensch. That means someone human, someone who really is well-intended, who cares for you. I'm not saying that nobody cares for you. I'm saying the systems in general, the way they are set, because they need to protect the company, they need to protect the policies and other things, are not going to protect you. This is why I'm a little bit more abrupt today, or more direct today in my purpose talking to you, is that you will change the world when you will be on your own, even when you are employed or even when you are dependent on other things. Of course, you need to pay your taxes and you need to do all things that you're dependent on, because you live in a society, and you have civil obligations, and you live in a society. So to each other, and when it's I'm trying to say, ideally, if all the things would work that way, that would be fantastic. But about yourself, that you have to evaluate how happy you are, if you're getting the right compensation for what you do and for who you are, and at this stage of your career, if you are having the scope and the space that are needed for you to have harmony and express your talent and do what you really want to do at this stage of your life. You have to do this assessment. You have to make this self-reflection regularly. If it's not every month, every quarter, I would not say more than that. Every quarter is a minimum. So where am I in my purpose with you? I'm pretty much talking to you naturally today. I haven't really prepared so much, but it comes out naturally to say, passionately, how much I would like you to be independent from all the things out there. So when it comes to career, and when it comes to your position in the market, you have to have all the acumen necessary to understand your market and to understand where you are in your career and in your happiness and in your balance, in your well-being. It's easier said than done. We're too busy. And you know what busy could be synonym of? Of distraction. You're distracted from the core. So there is nothing wrong. to say, no, I'm not available right now. No, I will not be available next week on Monday between 10 and 12, because this is the time that is untouchable, that you have designated as untouchable. It's the time when you have dedicated this time to check the market, to take care of yourself, to update and upgrade your resume. Maybe change also that resume to something else than a paper or a bio. Maybe why don't you maybe try to make a video about your bio, a 1 minute video that not a recruiter, but a hiring manager would watch, and you would send as an attachment. 1 minute should be easy to attach. Now, there is a lot of firewalls out there and everything, so I understand. You can put a link, at least giving an opportunity for someone to get to see you and know you and see you're a potential asset for them. Now, sorry for all these people that think that I'm really a troublemaker by saying, well, this guy worked 20 years for us. Why do you want him to leave? I've never said that this person should leave. I said this person should think of himself or herself and assess her own value in the market and be always ready with this personal board of directors to make a move that can be as smooth as possible, as excuse me, smooth as possible, with peace of mind. The more you are trusting in yourself, the more you rely on yourself, the more you're accountable for yourself, right? The less expectations you'll have from other ones. And your next review with your supervisor, when you will not get the promotion you were expecting, you will not get the upgrade of your salary that you expected, you will feel good inside that you are working on alternatives. You always have an alternative at hand. And to prove my point, there's all kind of principle out there. Something about negotiation. If you would negotiate your salary today with your employer, you know what BATNA means? Best alternative to negotiated agreements. It's to set a minimum in your mind and have a leverage to leverage that minimum. That means that in a negotiation, let's say it would be a salary that's easier to memorize and to understand me, you would leverage the fact that another job is waiting for you. Your dear, sincere statement to this employer of yours would be in this negotiation that I want to stay here. I'm happy here. I've been here for a long time, and I want to continue to serve. I want to continue to contribute to this company's growth and success. This is my success. I have no interest to leave. But if you don't want to pay my worth, if you don't want to show your appreciation of my work and my good work and give me a raise, I have to consider someone else, another company. And if you tell me you have a good excuse because you don't have the money, because there is an economical situation, or you need to provision more money for your own safety, well, I'll tell you, I need this raise, because this raise for me is my fuel to give the motivation, the time, and the investment that I'm making in this company all the time. And that becomes a negotiation leverage. You see me, you understand me. BATNA, best alternative to negotiated agreements, which means I have already something on the table. I have a bona fide offer on the table. And I can leverage this and say to you right in your face and very politely, you know what? I get an offer right now. I really would prefer to stay here. But if you don't let me stay here because I can't accept less than this, then unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a leave from here. That's as simple as that. But what is it that I'm talking about right now? It's of course an extreme situation, but it is the outcome of being independent. You've been doing your homework. You've been going on the market. You've been trying to narrow it down to things that are really matching your profile, that you really would like to do. There's something you would love to do. Like you would love to continue what you do or get promoted to the next position, because that's what you would love to do. That's where your heart will be. That's where you're going to be motivating because you're a leader, and inspiring, and inspired by yourself. How can you inspire if you're not inspired? All right. I spoke enough. You change the world when you are independent. You change the world because you're impacting others being happy. You change the world because you're so authentically happy and yourself that people look at you like a leadership, that like a leader that leads by model. I have a model of happiness in front of me. I have a model of completion, someone who is complete, who really achieve. It's an achiever. He shows me how to achieve myself. There's definitely an exchange, constructive exchange between the two of us when I'm reporting to this guy. And this guy changes the world just by making him the way I feel. Because I make changes also around me, my family, my own team, because of that leader. And you see how many things have ripple effects here and really create an impact in the world. That's a little bit of a fragment, of a little fragment of things that can change the world. You can change the world by many more things, about volunteering, about paying, giving charity, about um, really caring for the good cause. And I will finish on the last note. This one is dear to me these days. I think the world is very sick right now because of one thing. It's this lack of independence. People are dependent on the news. People are dependent on, on, on newspapers or radio channels, stations that are driven by politicians who are not well intended. They have just one thing in mind. They want to enroll you, they want to hypnotize you, they want to brainwash you. And I don't care, left, right, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, or New York Times, or whatever. But New York Times and Washington Post are papers definitely that worry me a lot. So when I say that, it's because people rely on those news, and those news get to their subconscious, and they start trusting what they read or what they hear, or what they watch. This is the problem. You do not have this autonomy of yours to make your own judgment, and you let another power, another entity influence your mind, influence your opinion, especially in a time when we are getting to an election, and propaganda and all these tools that lots of money use to change a trend or to change people's minds is because of one reason, only one, and they are right to do it this way, is because people are dependent. People do not want to have their own opinion, their own judgment, or they don't trust their own judgment, so they go by those judgments. Guys, this is all of one topic. And I'm not a politician. I hate politics. I hate politics deeply because of that reason. Politics is a cage. That's what I will associate it with in my purpose today. Politics is a cage, and you don't want to be inside because you never get out of it. Thank you for listening. See you next week, and have a wonderful day.